I have never had to do this before on YouTube, I must admit, but I'm kind of making a formal retraction about the video I made regarding Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev the other day. It was right after the fight. I must admit, I was extremely bitter, extremely, almost just pissed off at the fact that, you know, I didn't really think the scoring criteria was met properly when it came to the judging, and I literally didn't give Ankalaev any form of credit, you know, and I typically whenever I get hate comments or people disagreeing, you know, whatever way it goes, it's always respectful. Like, that's why we love this sport, because you can say, oh, I think this person will win, and then someone else will give their opinion of why a different person will win, and then it's kind of like a mutual, like, okay, let's see, you know, and it's what's beautiful about this sport. And you know, I got so much hate, genuinely people just being absolutely nasty, attacking me personally, messaging me on Instagram, saying they can like murder everybody I follow and stuff. Not great from the Dagestani fan base, however, whatever, but I don't care. But things like messaging my mum, like, okay, like, and I've been making videos on YouTube for 4 years, giving my immediate reaction, just being completely authentic, and in that moment I was pissed off. I gave Ankalaev no credit, however, which I'm here to give him credit. Pereira did nothing on the feet, boxing-wise. The threat of the takedown eliminated any forward momentum Pereira might have had, and as much as I fucking hate the fact that these guys hold people against the cage and like sniff balls to win fights, he did win, and I will give him his credit. And I'm sure he will go out there and get a title defense, maybe against a Yuri Prohaska, potentially using similar methods, you know. And people are saying, oh, you hate grappling. All the comments were, oh, you just hate grappling. I fucking love jiu-jitsu and wrestling. I watch it. I sit and watch Fight Pass, grappling, everything. The one championship events where it's like jiu-jitsu matches. I was sat in Malaysia last year just watching that. And look, Renato Moicano took down Benoit Saint-Denis and butchered him from the top. That's effective grappling, you know. Holding somebody against the cage is not effective grappling. Islam Makhachev is my favourite fighter to watch because he's so good everywhere. You know, Khabib was a legend because he was this undefeated guy. He was never beaten, and you knew exactly what he was going to do, and he did it. I mean, the Dagestanis are a fucking incredible family of fighters and athletes, and they've made so much money for the economy in their village. They've opened a huge gym over there. I have massive respect for what they've done in the sport. However, there's the odd few, for example, maybe a Marab, who has gotten more interesting as of late, maybe an Umar Nurmagomedov, not just the Dagestanis, a Mario Bautista. And I was just pissed off that you can fail takedowns, hold somebody against the cage, and be given a round for it, despite being outstruck in that round, you know? And in that moment, that's all I could think about, because it was a boring fight. I was gutted. I got my prediction wrong. Pereira disappointed me. I just didn't give Ankalaev the credit he deserved, and I didn't slag off Pereira's flaws, and I only slagged off what I hated about Ankalaev's fight style. Now, I hope you watch this video, Dagestani fans, and understand that I'm making a formal retraction. You know, this is my retraction. Ankalaev won the fight. First and foremost, I think he won. I've rewatched it twice. I think if they were to give it to Pereira, it would be off rounds 1, 3, and 5. And those are the rounds that I think you can give to Pereira based on damage. However, they gave round 3 to Ank, and I don't really mind. Pereira did better on the feet. Ank held him against the cage and attempted takedowns. They gave him the round. I don't think Pereira did enough significant damage to win him that round. And that's my formal statement. That's what I'm coming out here to say. I'm apologising. I got it wrong. However, and I have massive respect for all of you, but the ones in the comments saying, I hate grappling, you don't know me. I love this sport. I literally am out in Asia right now training MMA full time. I love this sport. I sold my car, quit my job, and flew out here. This is the 3rd time I've been out here. I absolutely love MMA. I'm so passionate about it. I can list you fighters' attributes off the top of my mind, list their records off the top of my head. Shit like this. I love this sport. I watch every card all the time. I sit and watch fights in my free time. I'm the biggest fan. And all you people in the comments saying, just because I, in that moment, was heated and I said, these guys, all they do is hold people up against the cage, which is not an untrue statement. They go crazy at me in the comments, and I reply to some quite aggressively. I ignore others. However, what I will say right now is every single person who justified why Ankalaev won, I was like, you know what, this hate is justified, because I can understand this opinion. And they're taking the cage control into consideration here. They're saying that's just part of the sport. I understand it is. However, it doesn't align with the scoring criteria. Whatever. It doesn't matter. He won that fight. He won the rounds. Of course, the judges are going to give it to him. Like, it's fine. 4 minutes of control time. Pereira not doing anything significant the whole fight, because I don't know what was wrong with him. He looked 37. The first thing I said to Stan after the fight was, fuck, Pereira looked 37 years old tonight. You know? Just wasn't quite the same. And that was down to Ankalaev. And I think it was down to Pereira wasn't throwing much because he knows he can defend the takedown, but I don't know how confident he is being in a guard, fighting off submissions, fighting both hands, you know? But look, the people in the comments, right? The people in the comments that said, what was it you were saying? You were saying that, you know, I know nothing about MMA, you're just angry. You're angry at me slagging your boy. It's justified hatred. However, when I say to you, okay, no problem, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I was wrong. You were right. However, you have to admit that is the most boring thing in the world to watch, and it shouldn't count as much as it does. You know, someone holding them against the cage, controlling them, granted. You know, and people were saying, oh, you know, Magomed stumped Pereira. Yeah, I would be as well. I'd be a bit more passive if I knew I was going to be pushed up against the cage and lose out on a whole round. You know, and that's why the style's effective, because it discombobulates you on the feet in a way, because it's like, fuck, if I get put against the cage, even if I defend these takedowns, I'm not getting off the cage. You know, the referee had to separate it at one point, and that's what I hate. And I'm sure you guys dislike it as well. And, you know, I've got favourite fighters, and I can slag them off, and I can say, that was fucking ridiculous. What was that? And I don't think you guys can. I don't think you can sit back and think, yeah, it's maybe a bit gay. You know, like, it's a bit, like, come on, man. And if they did give the fight to Pereira, there'd be all the Pereira fans saying, yeah, Pereira won 3-5 on damage. But because Ankalaev had the cage control, and because they gave him the fight, now the narrative is, oh, but all that did was hold him against the cage. And all the Dagestanis are obviously like, oh, go watch kickboxing then. It's like, I'm sure you would rather watch kickboxing as well than watch the hugging against the cage. Now, I'm trying to be as fucking unbiased and neutral as possible, unlike my last video. Pereira did fucking nothing. He barely landed a punch. He was being outboxed by Ankalaev, frankly, but it was more so because Pereira was obviously fighting a southpaw. You know, he had to kick with his lead leg, Ankalaev's lead leg, and it makes it awkward because every time Pereira, and this is credit to Ankalaev, every time Pereira threw that left leg kick, Ankalaev would fire a left hand down the pipe. So obviously Pereira's thinking, now fuck, like every time I throw a left kick, I'm going to have to worry about the right hand, or left hand of Ankalaev. And obviously, if you're worried about the takedown as well, you know, if Pereira kicks and you feint that left hand and duck down and grab him and get double unders, or a double leg, that's dangerous. So all fairness to Ankalaev, he did what he needed to do. He's the current light heavyweight champion. A draw would have been more sufficient. I will give you that. I will give you a draw. But Ankalaev, I can see how he won. He won 2-3-4. You know, he won round 2, no doubt. I had it 2-2 going into the 5th, and I gave Pereira the 5th. That was my personal opinion. That was Joe Rogan's personal opinion. That was all these big names' personal opinions as well. And you're not commenting on his takes, calling him casuals, because, you know, he's not a passionate young man making videos about this. You know, you guys really hated on me saying, go back to McDonald's, go back to this. You know, look, a lot of your profile pictures are, like, fucking ridiculous. Like, obviously, you're just I can't really say the word on YouTube, and I am getting a bit amped now because I'm thinking about these comments and people messaging my family members being like, this guy's like just saying that they're going to murder me and stuff. And I've made fucking over 200 videos, 300 videos on this channel, guys. Like, I don't mind being hated on, you know. Hate never comes from people doing better than you know. And I got a pick wrong. It's a sport. This is what it's about. Yes, that video was ridiculous. Me just fucking slagging him up, Ankalaev off the whole time and not even looking at Pereira. But I apologise formally to Ankalaev. He doesn't care. He's the world champion. He's a millionaire. I'm not. fair play. He did it. He did what he said he was going to do. He became the champion. I would like to see an immediate rematch because kind of what else do you do in that division? And the UFC owe Alex Pereira anyway for doing all the short notice fights. And I think next time they probably will both come out and try and make it a bit more exciting because there's not the nerves of fighting for your first belt anymore for either guy. Anyway, please like, comment and subscribe, everybody. I'm sorry, Ankalaev. I'm sorry to all the Ankalaev fans that I offended. Look, let's agree to disagree sometimes, guys. And that goes both ways. That goes for me as well. I should be more respectful. I have Ankalaev winning that fight 2, 3 and 4. Not based on damage, just based on overall. He just did more. He tried to win more. That's the narrative, even though it doesn't match the scoring criteria. Thank you, folks. Appreciate it.